Hi everyone. So tonight I'm going to continue my villain profile, and tonight I'm going to be reading all about Jason. Ironically, it's Friday, but not the 13th, so we're okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this Wikipedia entry. Jason Voorhees is a fictional character from the Friday the 13th series. He first appeared in Friday the 13th as the young son of camp cook turned murderer Mrs. Voorhees, in which he was portrayed by Ari Lehman. Created by Victor Miller with contributions by Ron Kurtz, Sean S. Cunningham, and Tom Savini, Jason was not originally intended to carry the series as the main antagonist. The character has primarily been an antagonist in the films, whether by stalking and killing the characters or acting as a psychological threat to the lead character, as is the case in Friday the 13th: A New Beginning. The character's physical appearance has gone through many transformations, with various special makeup effects artists making their mark on the character's design, including makeup artist Dan Winston. Appearances in films. Jason made his first cinematic appearance in the original Friday the 13th on May 9, 1980. Jason is not a killer in this film, but is seen in the memories of his mother, Mrs. Voorhees, and as a hallucination of the film's protagonist, Alice. Though the character is never truly seen, he propels the film's plot. Mrs. Voorhees, the cook at Camp Crystal Lake, seeks revenge for his death, which she blames on the camp counselors. Jason's second appearance was in the sequel, Friday the 13th, Part 2. Revealed to be alive, an adult Jason exacts revenge on Alice for decapitating his mother in the original film. Jason returns to Crystal Lake, living there as a hermit and guarding it from all intruders. 5 years later, a group of teenagers arrive to set up a new camp, only to be murdered one by Jason, who wears a bag over his head to hide his face. Ginny, the lone survivor, finds a cabin in the woods with a shrine built around the severed head of Mrs. Voorhees and surrounded by mutilated corpses. Ginny fights back and slams a machete through Jason's shoulder. Jason is left for dead as Ginny is taken away in an ambulance. In Friday the 13th, Part 3, Jason escapes to a nearby lake resort, Higgins Haven, to rest from his wounds. At the same time, Chris Higgins returns to the property with some friends. An unmasked and reclusive Jason kills anyone who wanders into the barn where he is hiding. Taking a hockey mask from a victim to hide his face, he leaves the barn to kill the rest of the group. Chris fends off Jason by slamming an axe into his head, but the night's events drive her into hysteria as the police take her away. Friday the 13th, the final chapter, continues the story with a presumed dead Jason found by the police and taken to the morgue. Jason awakes at the morgue and kills an attendant and a nurse, and makes his way back to Crystal Lake. A group of friends renting a house there fall victim to Jason's rampage. Jason then seeks out Trish and Tommy Jarvis next door. While Trish distracts Jason, Tommy evidently kills him with his own machete. Jason's appearance in Friday the 13th: A New Beginning was short-lived. Tommy Jarvis was committed to a mental hospital after the events of the final chapter and has grown up constantly afraid that Jason will return. Jason's body was supposedly cremated after Tommy killed him. Roy Burns uses Jason's persona to become a copycat killer at the halfway home to which Tommy has moved. Jason appears in the film only through Tommy's dreams and hallucinations. In Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, Tommy, released from a mental institution, visits Jason's grave and learns that Jason's body was never actually cremated, but buried in a cemetery near Crystal Lake. While attempting to destroy his body, Tommy inadvertently resurrects Jason via a piece of a cemetery fence that acts as a lightning rod. Now possessing superhuman abilities, Jason returns to Crystal Lake, now renamed Forest Green, and begins his killing spree anew. Tommy eventually lures Jason back to the lake where he supposedly drowned as a child, and chains him to a boulder on the lake floor, leaving him for dead. Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, begins an undisclosed amount of time after Jason Lives. Jason is freed from his chains by the telekinetic Tina Shepard, who was attempting to resurrect her father. Jason begins killing those who occupy Crystal Lake, and after a battle with Tina, is dragged back to the bottom of the lake by an apparition of Tina's father. Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, sees Jason return from the grave, brought back to life via an underwater electrical cable. He follows a group of students on their senior class trip to Manhattan, boarding the Lazarus to wreak havoc. Upon reaching Manhattan, Jason kills all the survivors, but Rennie and Sean. He chases them into the sewers, where he is transformed into a child by toxic waste. Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, marked the second time Jason was officially killed, according to studio canon. Through an unexplained resurrection, he returns to Crystal Lake, where he is hunted by the FBI. The FBI sets up a sting to kill Jason, which proves successful. Through mystical possession, however, Jason survives by passing his demon-infested heart from one being to the next. Though Jason does not physically appear throughout most of the film, it is learned he has a half-sister and a niece, that he needs them to retrieve and re-inhabit his body. After resurrecting it, Jason is stabbed by his niece, Jessica Kimball, and dragged into hell. Jason X marked Kane Hodder's last performance as Jason. The film starts off in 2010. Jason has returned after an unexplained resurrection. Captured by the U.S. government in 2008, Jason is being experimented upon in a research facility, where it has been determined that he has regenerative capabilities and that cryonic suspension is the only possible solution to stop him, since numerous attempts to execute him have been proved unsuccessful. Jason escapes, killing all but one of his captors, and slices through the cryo chamber, spilling cryonics fluid into the room, freezing himself and the only other survivor, Rowan. A team of students 445 years later discover Jason's body. On the team's spacecraft, Jason thaws from his cryonic suspension and begins killing the crew. Along the way, he is enhanced by a regenerative nanotechnology process, which gives him an impenetrable metal body. Finally, he is ejected into space and falls to the planet Earth 2, burning in the atmosphere. Set before the events of Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason is a crossover film in which Jason battles a Nightmare on Elm Street's villain, Freddy Krueger, a supernatural killer who murders people in their dreams. Krueger has grown weak, as people in his hometown of Springwood have suppressed their fear of him. Freddy, who is impersonating Jason's mother, resurrects Jason from hell and sends him to Springwood to cause panic and fear. Jason accomplishes this, but refuses to stop killing. A battle ensues in both the Dream World and Crystal Lake. The identity of the winner is left ambiguous, as Jason surfaces from the lake holding Freddy's severed head, which winks and laughs. In the 2009 Friday the 13th reboot, young Jason witnesses his mother's beheading as a child and follows in her footsteps, killing anyone who comes to Crystal Lake. The adult Jason kidnaps Whitney Miller, a girl who looks like his mother, and holds her prisoner in his underground tunnels. Months later, Whitney's brother Clay comes to Crystal Lake and rescues her. Eventually, Whitney uses Jason's devotion to his mother against him, stabbing him with his own machete while he is distracted when she appears. There's a lot of information on the process of finding the actors who play Jason. Characteristics. In his original appearance, Jason was scripted as a mentally disabled young boy. Since Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees has been depicted as a nonverbal, indestructible, machete-wielding mass murderer. Jason is primarily portrayed as being completely silent throughout the film series. Exceptions to this include flashbacks of Jason as a child and a brief scene in Jason Takes Manhattan, where the character cries out, "Mommy, please don't let me drown," in a child's voice before being submerged in toxic waste, and in Jason Goes to Hell, where his spirit possesses other individuals. Alright, that looks like it's pretty much it. It gives a lot